Would you wait until 2028 to check whether your drinking water source is actually protected? Hello and welcome. Today we're providing an objective policy briefing on a critical regulatory oversight gap right here in Washington state.
That exact question of timing is really at the heart of the Water Planning Matters petition, which is currently before the Washington State Department of Health. The core issue we're evaluating is whether mandatory public health rules protecting drinking water must be applied before physical excavation occurs, rather than just waiting around for a routine administrative update in 2028.
To understand why this matters, we have to look at the physical facts of a project called Creekside at the Ridge. Phase 1 proposes roughly 150 manufactured homes across 49 acres of a much larger property. But the real concern here is location. This site sits directly in a critical aquifer recharge setting near the City of Blaine's municipal drinking water wells, and it specifically overlaps mapped time of travel zones, including Well 9.
Now, time of travel is essentially how regulators evaluate the way groundwater moves from the land surface down toward public wells over time. This scientific baseline is absolutely crucial. You see, things like excavation, massive structural fill, and grading will permanently alter how water flows across and through the site. If those physical changes happen first, the original source water baseline could be completely gone before the state ever gives a clear regulatory answer.
It's also important to clarify the very narrow legal scope of this petition. Water Planning Matters is not asking to overturn Blaine's local permit. This is not a land use appeal, it's not a SEPA appeal, and it's not a request for a stop work order. Instead, it's a strictly public health question. Do Washington's drinking water protection rules apply right now to the City of Blaine as a public water system operator?
While the Department of Health argues that some review can simply wait until the next water system plan update in 2028, the state's own 2021 approval letter tells a slightly different story. It explicitly notes that 2028 is not an automatic safe harbor. The department retains the authority to request an update or amendment before then if the current plan is no longer representative of system activities.
Because of this, the chief health law judge is now evaluating a very specific procedural trigger. They have to decide whether the Department of Health must issue a formal declaratory order, essentially legally confirming if its source water rules apply to these physical facts right now before the site's baseline is permanently altered.
So, as lawmakers and citizens evaluate this regulatory gap, we're left with one critical question regarding public health oversight. Will the original source water baseline be permanently destroyed before the state confirms its rules apply? Drinking water protection is something that needs to be verified before a risk pathway is built over, not years after the fact.